I am with Chris Zarodkiewicz of Shooters Sports Bar and Grill. Hi, Chris. I have a few questions for you.
Great.
Start from the top. How did Shooters get started?
Well, it was about 17 years ago. I was living and working in Toronto at the Toronto Hilton, and I had a friend call me up and ask me to hire some people and send some staff over to Japan to work here in a restaurant. And one thing led to another, and I sent those people over. They were planning on opening another restaurant, so I came to Nagoya, and I worked at a place called Santa Barbara Restaurant Bar for about a year and a half. And in that time, I realized I really enjoyed Nagoya and got to know a lot of people and decided to stay and start my own restaurant.
Now, in Nagoya, there's many restaurants and bars. What sets Shooters apart from the other locations?
Well, I think there's really two things that make us different. One is, well, maybe three even. One is that we have great staff, really friendly staff that go out of their way to make relationships and become friends with our customers. We really don't treat people like they're just customers. We really try and give them authentic, Western-style hospitality. And the second thing would be our food. We have great food, authentic food, Western-style food. So, we've been trying to serve great food since we started, and it's an important part of what we are. And I think the third thing is just the atmosphere in itself. This is an authentic American or Western-style sports bar and grill. So I think people feel that when they come here.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've got a large space also. Do you hold any special events or things here?
We have always tried to kind of hold the events that you would find in a restaurant back home, whether it's Canada, Australia, America. We usually have an Anzac Day party, and we'll do a Canadian or American Thanksgiving Day party. We have Christmas dinner. We have a New Year's Eve event. We have a Halloween event. We even do a kids' Halloween event. Wow. And this coming week, we have an Easter party for children. We have an Easter egg hunt in the park next door.
Okay. The TV is here. We have sports going on. There's sports jerseys on the walls. What's the relationship between sports and Shooters?
Well, we've always been supportive of the local teams. So we have been sponsoring the local rugby team for several years now.
Okay.
We've watched them kind of grow from a small group to one of the best teams in the league.
Right.
And we also, are pretty involved with the sports teams, the professional sports teams in Nagoya. So you'll find a lot of the different sports jerseys on the walls. We have many of the players coming in here. We have Grampus players. We have Dragons players. After games, on any given night, you might find some Dragon players in here with some Giant players sitting at the same table, after they battled it out that night.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's a good atmosphere. We've also had, in the past, many sumo wrestlers come in.
Really?
I've actually met Akebono and Konishiki in here, on more than one occasion back in the day when they were the big stars.
Moving back to the use of the space, what other kind of community-related events do you have taking place here at Shooters?
Well, we've always tried to work with the community and be as big a part of the community as we can. From the ACCJ, the American Chamber of Commerce, to the TJCS, the Tokai Japan Canadian Society, they hold their events here. We have some charitable organizations that hold events here, Hope International. We have, this weekend actually, we have an upcoming event for a documentary that's being made. It's called Hafu. It's about families or children that are bicultural and their kids have been raised in that kind of environment, either half American, Canadian, or Australian and half Japanese. So we really try and kind of immerse ourselves in the community, and we hope that Shooters can be used for a variety of events.
I know also you have a back room here with some classes that take place. What kind of classes?
We have two schools that are involved in Shooters. One is called Power English, and that's owned by a local Canadian. A lot of the Japanese that come into Shooters tend to be internationally minded. They want to practice their English or get to know foreigners. The school takes it to another level. They can come in here, they can study English in the back, and then kind of come out and use their English, use what they've learned in the real setting. And we also have a Brazilian school that teaches to Brazilians English and Japanese, and they use our space as well.
You're doing a lot of things. Is there any other stuff that you're involved in?
My company actually has 3 other businesses. The first business we got involved in after Shooters was Caesar's Kitchen. That is a business that takes care of feeding kids in international schools. And we started at Nagoya International School, and from there we expanded into Yokohama, Tokyo, and Kobe. And we currently are involved in eight different schools throughout Japan. In addition, we have a relocation business, which is called Interlink. We provide full relocation services, housing, car lease, furniture lease.
So people moving into
basically
town.
helping people, acclimate themselves to living in Japan and getting them set up, and then helping them leave when they are ready to go back. Usually in assignments like 2 or 3 years, and then we help them when they go back. And that's Interlink. That's our second business. The last thing that we have recently got involved in is I've kind of gotten back into my hotel roots. We're involved in a hotel in Hakuba called the Aqua Alpine Hotel. It's a small boutique hotel, about 15 rooms. Very beautiful place. It's very service-oriented, and it's only about 200 meters from the slopes in Goryu. You can walk to the slopes and ski back down right into your room. So it's a
right on.
Great place.
Now, we're at about 1 month after the earthquake that hit northern Japan. I'm wondering if your business was affected at all by the earthquake?
Yeah, to a certain extent. Probably in the short term, it was affected pretty heavily. The hotel we're in, all reservations canceled. Most of our customers come from Australia, and basically, I think in the international community, most people were told not to come to Japan.
Right. Even now.
Yeah. So, and then with our real estate business, many of the people who were scheduled to come canceled or postponed. And with our school food service, basically all the schools in the northern area in Tokyo and Yokohama closed down. But I think overall, everything has kind of gotten back on track, and the businesses are running again.
Right.
And I think in the grand scheme of things, long term we're fine, and we haven't really been affected in comparison to what people have been affected up in the north.
Absolutely. So. I understand that you also had some fundraising events for the earthquake struck region. Could you touch on that a little bit?
Well, Shooters was involved, and initially, I think the whole Nagoya community came together and did a fantastic job. They started a group called Supporting Japan. We held the first meeting here in Shooters. There was about 80 people that came. And I think initially when the whole catastrophe happened, there were questions about radioactivity and things, and people wanted answers. So we had a meeting here, and we had the consulates from Nagoya and Canada come.
Really?
And kind of, give people information on what was really happening. So we had that here, and Shooters was involved in some fundraisers. We had a fundraiser here. We raised about 100,000 yen that we donated, and we were involved in the group and did what we could.
I wanted to ask you what's in store in the future for Shooters and your other operations.
Well, we're always looking to do new things and grow. So we're currently looking for another location, either in Nagoya or outside Nagoya for Shooters. And in terms of Caesar's Kitchen, we've got several different schools that we're looking to go into now. Hopefully we'll have a few more starting in August. And the other businesses were within the hotel. We're starting a travel agency to try and promote the Hakuba Goryu area. As I mentioned, most of our customers come from Australia, so we're looking to kind of work with our partners in Australia to bring more people here to go to the hotel. But overall, we're looking, to continuously grow and try and, be a bigger company.
Great.
So
Thanks a lot, Chris.
thank you.
I've been speaking to Chris Zarodkiewicz of Shooter's Sports Bar and Grill. Restaurant, is it?
Sports Bar and Grill.
See you next time.
Globalize with local eyes. TCC World.